Well, Addy, today I'm going to start us off with a little jingle, but it's not going to be the jingle that you like. It's going to be a certified classic, though. I don't want to be alive. I don't want to be alive. I
I
just want to
just wanna
die
die
today.
today.
That
I
was that
just
was
wanna
immediately what was
die.
going through my head when I saw what happened to our boy Indiana Jones. Um, yeah, not exactly the pod that you plan on having. There's really no way to plan for a pod like this. But yeah, unfortunately, we have to talk about the season potentially being over, the implications of Daniel Jones' Achilles injury. It's confirmed he tore it. It's going to be a long recovery, probably 9 to 10 months most likely. So yeah, just what were your overall thoughts kind of when it happened? And I guess moving forward, we'll get into, what that means for the Colts moving forward.
Yeah, it sucked. I mean, this dude came in, rejuvenated his career. I thought he was gonna be the franchise guy. He still could be. Could very well still be the franchise guy, but it makes decisions a bit tougher when you're, one-year rental QB who played out of his mind this season and you were planning on extending goes down with a season-ending injury, and for it to happen so late, knowing that he'll probably be starting on IR next season if he is with the Colts for like
Mm.
a couple of games, depending upon how recovery goes. Um, it just sucked, and the irony of it happening in Jacksonville, of all places, nothing good happens in Duval County, and this was kind of this hurt is what I'll say. It really sucked. I will say though, even if Daniel Jones was healthy, the Colts weren't winning that game, and we'll get into that. But right now, obviously, just want to pay our respects to Daniel Jones. I mean, just a hell of a season that you had thus far, and I hope you're an Indianapolis Colt next season. I don't really know the direction the Colts go into, go forward with, but we'll probably talk about it here. But
Hmm.
I hope he's on the Colts. I mean, he's done enough to be a franchise quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. But let's just see how he recovers.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of questions. I was talking to a lot of Colts fans, uh, just on various platforms yesterday, social media platforms, and that was kind of the sentiment for everyone. It was like, man, where do you go from here? It feels eerily similar. Obviously, not. It doesn't mean as much, right, as Tyrese Halliburton's injury in the finals, but it has that type of vibe where it's like your leader, your guy, um, that you we're pretty much going to move forward with, right? There were talks in the off season, or sorry, there were talks during the season, rather.
Hmm.
If you remember, some of the NFL insiders were talking about the Colts had already talked to Daniel Jones' agent about potentially getting a deal done, right, and re-signing him. And you got to think those conversations look completely different now, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no way, there's no way that they look the same now.
yeah,
It's just a completely different conversation to have with his agents about coming back now. So, yeah, it is. It's very sad. It's very frustrating as Colts fans. I think it's very okay to take 24 plus hours and just be like sad about it because
yeah.
you had a Colts team that was 7-1 for the first time since 2009, and you had a Colts team who was the number 1 seed in the NFL for a long period of time, and now they're I'll just go out on record and say they're not going to make the playoffs. I
Hmm.
don't think it's, oh, they probably won't. I don't think they will make the playoffs, and the season's over, in my opinion.
This
So
yeah. No, I mean, well said. This was kind of the season. It was like Jim Irsay passed away. We're going all out for Jim Irsay. We just traded 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner. In all reality, a combination of Burrow, Mahomes, and Lamar might all miss the playoffs, and the AFC is kind of wide open. So
crazy, yeah.
to start 7-1, to start 8-2, to have the offensive firepower and start that you had, for it to end like this, and the offense had gradually declined, I felt like, over the last couple of weeks, partly due to strength of schedule being a lot tougher. But it just sucks to go out this way. And I think I'm kind of aligned with you. It's like the Colts are going to be underdogs in every single game moving forward. 11 games gets you in to the playoffs. I don't see the Colts winning 3 games. Maybe we find a way and we beat the Niners, but I mean, you got one more against Jacksonville, they demolished us, one more against Houston, you got one
Right.
against Seattle, who looks like a juggernaut. I just and you're gonna be
Yeah.
trotting out who? Riley Leonard, right? And
Yeah.
he looked capable yesterday, but now that people have film on him for about a half, it's a little concerns a
Yeah.
6th round pick, so
And like for anyone that's like trying to look at it that way, right? Like I get it. Look, like as a fan, it's easy to be like optimistic and be like, oh, like Riley Leonard's gonna lead us or whatever. But just look at the reality. It's not necessarily impossible if Riley Leonard would win a game or two if you look at the first half of our schedule, right? If Riley
mhm,
Leonard was playing like the Titans or if Riley Leonard was playing the Raiders or something or even the
mhm.
Dolphins, I think he
Dolphins
could
look good now.
squeeze out. Yeah, they look better now, way better now. But I think he could squeeze out a win or two, right? If he was playing against that competition. But guys, we're talking about the Seahawks, top three defense. We're talking about the Jaguars, best run defense in the NFL. We're talking about the Texans, the best defense in the NFL. Like it's not even close, bro. They are leaps and bounds the best overall defense in the
Mhm,
NFL, just period.
mhm.
Um, and then the Niners, who are arguably the best coach team in the NFL. They've got some of the best players in the NFL, like Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brock Purdy's back. I mean, come on. Like it's kind of like wishing on hoping on a prayer. If Riley Leonard could lead the Colts to a couple games over that 4 game stretch, man. I think maybe one. Like I said, I think I like that. That sounds kind of good. Like maybe they could squeak out one at home because they still have two home games left.
Maybe
But
Texans bench their players, week 18. It'd be
yeah, if
nice.
they're in or
Learn something.
something, yeah. I mean, I can see squeaking out one, but guys, like it's probably over, man. Because like
I
these are all 4 teams that are pushing for playoffs, right? Like they are actually fighting for playoff seeding. They have a reason to play, and they're
Yeah.
playing their best football in December. So
Yeah.
it's not
They'll
gonna
have something to
happen.
fight for now, and I'm probably the biggest optimist there is out of any Colts fan in the world, and especially on Twitterverse, but it's just like, it's time to be a realist, like, this Colts team is just like, you lose your captain. You saw what happened last season, Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson, it's 8 and 9 seasons, 9 and 8 seasons, and you finally found a guy that was capable enough to run an offense, and he tears his Achilles. So it's time to be more of a realist. This
Yeah,
Colts team is not making the playoffs. I was rooting for the Chiefs as much as everyone else last night for the Colts to stay in the race. And by the way, if you still are an optimist, go ahead, root for the Eagles to beat the Chargers tonight. The Colts would go back into the 7 seed spot. But
yeah,
realistically, the Colts are it's just not they're just not going to hold it. I mean, the Seahawks just held the last 2 opponents to 9 combined points. And now trotting out Riley Leonard or Brett Ripon, and please don't
right,
even pick up Joe Flacco if the Bengals
right.
release him for whatever reason. I don't want to see that again. Um,
Well, and my biggest thing is too, man. I think the icing on the cake for me, on the very bitter tasting cake, might I add,
I hate
is
this cake, dude.
yeah, I hate this cake. It's my
So bad.
worst cake I've ever had.
Worst fucking cake
Um,
ever.
but dude, it's so like frustrating that the Houston Texans last night were
Ah,
able to go into Arrowhead and do something that the Colts had every opportunity to do. You're up 20-9
mm-hmm,
on the team that you can effectively knock them out of the playoffs and you can
mm-hmm.
effectively end the dynasty, and the Colts fumbled the bag, right? Up 20-9. And they just had everything in front of them. And then you see the Houston Texans, they go in there and for all intents and purposes, yes, the score was close, but they dominated. If you
They
watch
did.
that game start
Patrick
to
Mahomes
finish,
looked bad.
they dominated that Chiefs team from start to finish. The Texans defense, they were daring the Texans to score, daring
Yeah,
them to score every single time they got the ball.
yeah,
And that was the icing on the cake for me. I'm like, wow, the Texans just went in and did something in front of a national audience, in front of prime time, and showed, hey, look what we can do that the Colts can't do. And it was just like that for me was just like, God dang, man,
it's the
like
same old
the one
Colts,
time.
man. It's the
Yeah,
same old Colts. You got the same core. You got the same Colts. You got a head coach that seems like he's regressed in play calling over the last
yeah,
couple of weeks, and he's 2 and 8 against the Texans. And I'm not saying fire Shane Steichen. I like him as a player, but as a coach. But
"We
as a
putting
player.
hey,
Hey,
Steichen was
dude,
a quarterback. He was a quarterback back
actually,
at UNLV, like, let's
actually,
throw him in there."
Shane, you can call your own plays from the huddle. Jim Bob
Dice it up
Cooter
a
out
little
there on
bit.
the sideline. Fuck it, you talking all this smack, fuck it. But in all reality, he's 2-8 versus the Jags and Texans. In his 3 seasons as head coach, that's not a very good record you
Brother,
wanna
that's
have, and
abysmal, bro. Like, that is fire territory, like, if you're talking
but it's
about, like, in a resume,
hey, dude, the
But, yeah.
Colts 2-2 in the division, bro. They just beat the Titans twice, bro. Like, they're good. I swear the Colts are good, dude. They beat the Titans twice. They lost to the Texans. They lost the Colts are good, bro. Trust me. Trust me.
Dude, after what I saw that Texans team look like last night, I'm like, "Not a shot, dude. We're
No,
not the
no fucking
best
way,
team in
dude.
the division, man." Like, even with
No
a
fucking
healthy
way.
Daniel Jones, I would be scared shitless of that Texans team. I'll be honest with you. Like, I was watching them and I was like, "Yo, this Texans defense is like the Legion of Boom damn near." Like,
Dude,
it
it's
felt like they
really
were the
good.
Legion of Boom reincarnated.
Yeah, and they
Ugh,
held Patrick Mahomes at home to 10 points. That's, like, one of his worst passer
unheard
ratings, granted
of.
a lot of drops, 3 picks. It's like,
Unheard
this
of.
is the pass rush is really good. It's just this team is I mean, Texans are a team I don't wanna play in the playoff.
No.
Not me, not the Colts. I mean, like, if I'm
Yeah.
the Bills, if I'm the Broncos, like, I do not wanna see the Texans, this
Yeah,
resurgence of this
look what
team.
they did. Look what they did to the Bills earlier this year too. That defense, like I said, like
Yeah.
in the playoffs, you don't want to run into a team like the Texans. And I just think the if you look at the AFC South, I mean, you look at the Jaguars, you look at the Texans, all of their arrows are pointing up,
Yep.
and the Colts arrow is just pointing down, and it has been pre Daniel Jones tearing his Achilles really for the past what 3 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I would argue that the collapse kind of started happening in the Pittsburgh game. I think that was the
Oh, for
beginning
sure.
of the collapse. It was like,
People figured out what to do.
yeah.
Bring 6 or
So
7 every time.
yeah, I
Um,
I'm definitely bummed about that, but it is what it
I
is.
I will say, and I'll say it over and over again, if Daniel Jones was healthy, the Colts were still gonna lose that game. That defense resorted back to 2024 Giants defense. They couldn't stop a single thing. And Trevor Lawrence has our number. CJ Stroud has our number. But this defense looked abysmal. I get it. You're down. You're DeForest Buckner. You're down Sauce Gardner, but there was no pass rush, zero pressure, zero QB hits, zero sacks. Travarius Ward looks like a former shell of himself. The linebackers can't cover for shit. I mean, Zaire Franklin, I love you. I love your attitude. You're useless. It's like you're just like, congrats, you're rushing the passer because our front four can't get there anyways, and they just bring you half the time. Um, but they weren't stopping a fucking nosebleed yesterday. So the Colts were losing this game regardless, and it just sucks that we lost our potential franchise quarterback in result of that.
Yeah, last one I want to make about the defense real quick. I know we got to go in about 3 minutes, but last one I want to make about the defense is that I think it's time, man, that that core, I think it's time to maybe admit that that core just doesn't work. I think there's a couple pieces that I really
Yeah.
like. I think moving forward, I would keep a guy like Nick Cross, right? I think I really like what he can do. I would keep a guy, obviously, like if he wanted to stay, I'd probably keep like Kenny and Defoe just because they're kind of like, veterans and they do what they do. But a lot of the other guys, man, besides maybe like Latu on the defensive line, I feel like they're expendable at this point. Like
Yeah, a lot of them are expendable.
Even Ward, I'm like, if you can get some trade value out of him, like he has just not been at all what's as advertised. And I
No.
know
He
there's a lot of
was
stuff going on in his
pre-concussion.
life. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot
He
of stuff going
was.
on in his life, and we don't know, all the ins and outs. But bottom line is like he's supposed to be an alpha number one corner. We're paying him like an alpha number one corner, and he's just not putting up alpha number one corner performances. You know what I mean? He's kind of getting bullied
No,
around a
yeah.
little bit. So yeah, man,
One
that defense is gonna have to get revamped in my opinion in the
well,
offseason. But
especially, like, if if the Colts, they're still kinda control their own destiny, they're 8-5, you can't lose the locker room, like, totally. Shane Steichen can't go in there and be like, "Season's over, we lost Daniel Jones." So if there's
We can
any
do that. We
chance
can do that, but
yeah,
he
we can
can't.
do that. Shane can't do that. But if there's any chance this Colts team, like, has a sliver of hope, they gotta figure out on the defensive side of the ball, they gotta get Sauce and D-Buck
They're gonna have
back
to
and
win games on defense, yeah, is literally
exactly.
yeah.
And it just also kinda begs the question of where do the Colts go from here? You kinda just have to ride it out, man. It's like you gotta still win now. You don't have 2 first-round picks because of the Sauce deal. Granted, it sucks that happened, Daniel Jones' injury happened, but I still do that deal, I think,
Same,
because
yeah, mhm.
you can't base trades based on what injuries can be expected, because no one expected this Daniel Jones to get hurt, but now you're just kinda put in a tough situation where you're just kinda had to go all in for the next 2 seasons because, I mean, you don't really have first round picks. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's easy to say, like, after the fact what could have been, right? So
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
I'm never gonna go that route and be like, "Oh, well, look what we should have done now." Yeah, like, there you
Yeah.
can't base a trade off of a post-injury, so
Yeah,
I agree with
exactly,
you. But
exactly.
yeah, guys, definitely try to keep your heads up today, Colts Nation, and just try to find a sliver of hope somewhere because we're trying right along with you.
Mhm.
But make sure you click that subscribe button and follow us on all socials, and we will probably have another episode out later this week and highlight the daunted Seattle Seahawks coming up on
I'm not ready
Sunday.
for this,
Could
Logan.
be could be a tough one. So, anyways, appreciate you guys, and as always, go
Go
Colts.
Colts.